So how's it going, ladies and gents, and welcome back to the channel. So today is Master Duel Day, and of course, we are gonna talk about the deck that got me to Diamond. Yes, we made it through Diamond, guys, and of course, this deck was by far very good when it comes to grinding out the levels or the ranks in Master Duel. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let's get into Master Duels and check the deck out. So here we are, ladies and gents. So this is my current rank right now. So we made it through Diamond, hooray! So, the deck that I'm using is, oh yeah, we'll talk about this in a while. But yeah, the deck I'm using is this. So this is a little bit more similar to the last deck that I've been using for a couple of days, or typically on Saturday when I was streaming it. I made some tweaks from Platinum 5 up until Platinum 2. And then as the ranks go higher and higher, I've remove most of the mecha monsters, and of course just added my negations. Well, typically you are gonna go up against other players who are using the Swordsoul Tenyi deck. So having a negation is pretty much useful, and of course if you'd like, you can have these two infinite impermanents to be like Forbidden Droplet. It's much better, but you know, discarding cards from your hand or sending cards from your hand or field to the graveyard is not really that applicable, since I will talk about that in a while. So first and foremost, yeah, we still have the Deskbot 001, the 3 copies of Adhara, typically the 3 copies of each dragons, the Vishuddha and the Ashina. So Adhara allows you to add 1 worm monster that is banished. Vishuddha allows you to target 1 card your opponent controls and sends it back to the hand. Ashina just real summons a monster from your deck, or Tenyi monster from your deck to your side of the field. Max C is pretty good with this deck because of course you need cards on your hand, especially Sword Souls or Tenyis. You need to see more Sword Soul or Tenyis on your hand. Ash Blossoms just for negation, of course. Sword Soul Muyi, once this one is normal summon, you can just reveal 1 Sword Soul or 1 worm monster on your hand. You can just summon this one, and of course if this card is used as a synchro material, you can draw 1 card. Ecclesia is pretty good. You can tribute this card to spell summon 1 Sword Soul monster to your side of the field, and of course your opponent has more monster cards than you do. You can just special summon this on the field. Then we have Longnyon. Longnyon is pretty good, allows you to instantly summon a level 10 synchro monster, of course just by sending 1 or discarding 1 worm or Sword Soul monster from your hand. This one is pretty nice. Arc Nemesis Protoss. If you know the deck that your opponent is using, then you can just pick 1 attribute, and then your opponent cannot spell summon monsters with that same attribute. This card cannot be destroyed by card effect. So with regards to your magic trap, you have the 3 copies of Pot of Desires. So I based this one way back. People are using 3 copies of Pot of Desires for the Sword Soul Tenyi, just for draw power, and of course the banished cards are used for the increased attack for your Supreme Sovereign. So it's pretty good. Next we have your Lightning Storm, just for destruction capability on the back or front row. Your Sword Soul Emergence, you just search 1 Sword Soul from your deck and add that 1 to your hand. So next you have your Cold by the Grave, 2 copies as well. 2 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Now I would, if you're trying to get up the ranks or go up the ranks, I would prefer you go with Forbidden Droplet. Now the reason why I didn't get Forbidden Droplet on this build is because I already have Pot of Desires banish my cards from the top of my deck. So losing cards for Sword Soul Tenyi is not really an option for you. Although the deck is very good when you're summoning monsters, destroying monsters, protection, negation, disruption, it's all here. Well, it's almost all here. But once your opponent goes through all of that, like they destroyed your wall, you negated your monsters, your high defending monsters, then yeah, it's really hard to recover if you're using the Sword Soul Tenyi deck. And I've dealt with most players that uses the Sword Soul Tenyi deck. Once you run out of cards on hand or monsters on the field, one card isn't just enough. You need 2 or 3 cards to recover, and I've also experienced that kind of play. So yeah, Forbidden Droplet is by choice. It's up to you. Last is your Swordsoul Blackout. So Blackout is pretty good, just targeting one worm monster that you control, and then you 2 cards your opponent controls. So destroy those 2 cards, including your monster, of course. So if this card is banished, you can spell summon a token that is level 4, third side of the field. Now, that is your main deck. Now let's go on to your extra deck. So Denglong is very good. You can summon this one by the use of Hulk, if ever. And of course, what this card does is, if this card is spell summoned to the field, you can add 1 Yangzing monster from your deck, add it to your hand, and once per turn, you can send 1 worm monster from your deck to the graveyard, and it will copy its level. So that's that. And once this card is destroyed, you can spell summon a Yangzing monster from the deck. Also, your Yazi is also pretty good, but it's situational, of course. Well, typically your Yangzing monsters are situationals at a time, and it's very beneficial if you will actually summon this to the field. Yeah, you can just target 1 Yangzing monster you control, and 1 card your opponent controls, destroy them. So it just basically destroys cards in the field. And this card is you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, and sent to the graveyard. You can summon one worm monster from your deck in defense position. So that's also that. And this can be paired up with Aurorodon that can destroy 1 card on the field. Yeah. So that's that. Draco Berserker of Tenyi. So I had a lot of problems with this card when climbing the ranks. So this card says that when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish it. But it didn't say you can negate it. So that's one of those problems. And summoning this during someone using Nibiru on you, well, the effect will just go on. The monster will be banished. Sucks to be that. Second effect is if this card attacks and destroy an effect monster by battle and sent to the graveyard, this card gains an attack, thus making a second attack. But problem with that one, it needs to attack a monster during battle phase. So yeah, there's that side of the text that you need to take note. Now, your Swordsoul Shishao. Shishao is pretty good. What a guy told me last Saturday, Shishao is your bread and butter, and I really agree with that. Once this card is sync or summoned to your side of the field, it can add 1 Swordsoul card from your deck and to your hand. And of course, it has a quick effect that can negate a monster face up on the field. So that's also pretty good. So next up we have Xiao Feng. Once it's synced or summoned to your side of the field, your opponent cannot activate effects of monsters with the same original attribute as the Yangzing monsters used to sync or summon this one. So if you use a light Yangzing monster, then yeah, your opponent can't Nibiru or even what are other hand traps that are light. I think Effect Dealer is light. Now we have your Baron de Fleur. So basically this is easily summoned to your field just with the help of Longyeon. Longyeon is pretty much your go-to guy just to summon Baron de Fleur, and of course it can destroy a card and negate effects. Next you have your Supreme Sovereign. With the help of Pot of Desires, you can increase its attack for each card that is banished. And of course your opponent loses attack and defense depending on the cards banished. Once this card would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish 1 card from your graveyard instead. In relation to that effect, if a card is banished, so a card or cards is banished, you can banish 1 card each from both of your opponent's field and or graveyard. Next, you have your 2 copies of Monk of the Tenyi, just for your Tenyi monsters. Your 1 copy of Halkify Brax, your 1 copy of Shaman of Tenyi. So this basically once summoned to the field, you can discard 1 card and then spell summon 1 worm monster from your graveyard. Yeah, this you can summon a Supreme Sovereign from your graveyard. I've used this card to summon that to my side of the field, and not only that, you can also use that one with Antia or Muyi depending on you. Your last Link monster, yeah, RIP to this card in the TCG, having this one in the forbidden list. Once this card is summoned to the field by the help of Deskbot 001 and of course your Halkify Brax, you can go on a lot of combos, to be honest. So basically, this is the deck that I've been using so far throughout or climbing the ranks in Master Duels. But before we go to the replays, I would like to talk about one specific deck that I've encountered during my climb to Diamonds. So this deck here is 43 cards, but this guy has an idea. Really, he has an idea. So there are all or most of the cards he uses are more on negates. Doesn't really rely on draw power. Well, except for Maxi, of course. But yeah, a lot of disruption capabilities, negations. It's all here, basically. And of course, one copy of Anaconda. RIP to this card as well. Yeah, I think this is way more balanced than what I have at the moment. This can recover slightly. I lost to this deck, and yeah, I don't have a copy of Crossout Designator. This card is pretty good when you're climbing ranks. This and if you have effect baiters on your deck, Crossout Designators, all of those stuff can help you a lot, really a lot, for climbing the ranks. So yeah, just the basic stuff for your extra deck as well. This guy has an idea. So I think that's it for today, guys, and that's the deck profile for the Swordsoul Tenyi. If you like more contents like this in the near future, just go ahead and comment down below, and of course leave a like, subscription, and let's talk about more contents in the near future. So that's me signing off. Keep safe, good luck, and have a good night to your Wednesday, guys. Peace. Bye bye.